Good afternoon, it's time for another Ask AJ, or as it is today, just Ask Sam. And today I want to talk to you about the different kinds of photography that we take or that we arrange for each photography shoot that we do. Not every single one is kind of relevant for every single type of home. What we try and do is we try and get a really good range of different types of images so that people are enjoy the experience of looking through old photographs when they're thinking about a particular house. So what most estate agents do is just take a photograph of the outside, every room inside, maybe 2 or 3 angles, and that's it. And certainly there is merit in photographing the house and capturing what's there. But also what we're trying to do, we've got to remember, is we're trying to seduce a buyer. I mean, let's say we were a car company and we're trying to sell a car. Wouldn't just photograph side, front, the other side, back, and then upload it. That's not what we're going to do, is it? That's not going to sell the car. And I remember years ago I was selling a car and I thought I'm going to apply a little bit of my estate agency photography to this idea of selling this car. I wanted probably more money than the car was worth, I'll be honest. And all I had at my disposal was Auto Trader, a bit like we've got Rightmove at our disposal as house sellers. So what I did was I got my daughter, who was a photography student, I think she was only about 16 at the time, set up a tripod and we photographed the car. We had it all validated and looking very sparkly and lovely. We photographed the car at dusk, driving uphill very fast towards her with my full beam headlights on. And then we got lots of dynamic shots like going slightly around a corner or maybe driving away from her a little bit. But the one that did best was the one where I was driving straight at her and trying not to hit her with the headlights full on. It looked amazing, all sparkly and gorgeous, and she used a little bit of flash as well so we could just light up the side of the car. And that's the one that got us a sale on the car at probably way more than we deserved to get. And it taught me then a very valuable lesson that people buy what they think they see, not what they actually see. So what they think they see is a lifestyle, it's a future, it's a promise, it's a future memories made in that house. And that's what we've got to sell them through photography. So just photographing every room in the front of the house and the back of the house, that's not going to seduce them. It's not going to show them something that doesn't exist and selling them a possibility of the future. So what do we do instead? Well, we style the house, as I'm sure if you've been watching Ask AJ for any length of time, you know we style each and every room. We take some perishables like maybe some bread and cheese and scones and strawberries and a big cake and all those kind of things, and really showcase those areas of the house where we can put some sort of foodie vignettes together and make them look extra special. Like you can just imagine just sitting down and enjoying a cup of tea and a slice of fruitcake in front of a nice warm Aga. It's that kind of feel to those shots. We also take lots of lovely flowers, because what house doesn't look better, without lots and lots of flowers in it. So those are kind of the inside shots, and we tend to take 3 different levels of inside shots. So the main room itself, and we don't stand in each corner and go bang, 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 bang. We take a considered view of each room, and we don't use wide angle lenses to make sure we showcase the room as it is and not with all bendy walls. That's number 1. Number 2 is we'll show a feature like a wall or a view out of a window or a fireplace or some special feature of the room. It's kind of like a section of the room. And then the 3rd level of internal photography is much more of a lifestyle. So just the cake in shot, or just the bottle of champagne with the 2 glasses on shot on an outside table with the sunset behind, that kind of thing. Very much lifestyle photography. So that's the internal. What about external? Well, I'm sure you've seen our twilight shots. They are absolutely beautiful. And the reason we use them primarily is a business reason, not necessarily just a pretty, attractive aesthetics reason. And the business reason is that on Rightmove, twilight shots get more clicks, and they get between 33 and 50% more clicks than standard non-twilight shots. So it's really important that we try and get as many clicks as possible, because clicks lead to downloading brochures, lead to inquiries into the office, lead to viewings, which in turn lead to offers. So we need to make sure we're getting those clicks up as high as we possibly can. And that all starts with that beautiful lead image, and twilight images are the best kind of those leading image. So we go to somebody's house in the evening. Now I'm recording this in, what even is the date? 16th of August. So at this time of year, I would say sunset. Mac, you've been doing some twilights recently. About 9, half 9?
9, getting early though, as it's...
Yeah, getting earlier. So 9 at the latest maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas in the middle of the summer, in June, at the end of June, we can be in somebody's garden at 11 o'clock at night. It's pretty late. And Mac is looking forward to December when it's about 3.
Yeah.
And it's even kind of light in the summer as well, because actually the sky never really goes that dark, whereas in the winter, of course, it's properly black. And what we're trying to do is get a photograph of a house looking warm and welcoming and slightly intriguing, to entice people to want to know more about it. And what you actually see some twilight images look like is more like a haunted house, like the front of one of those dodgy DVDs that's, you know, like Blood and Gore 17, that kind of thing. And we don't want that. We don't want a haunted house. And it's quite a difficult thing to get right, as Mac will tell you, he's been doing it for a while now. If you get it too late, all you see is the windows and you don't see the actual house, and then it looks haunted. And if you get it too early, you can't really tell it's twilight because the windows are all lit, but there's too much light on the front of the house, so you can just see the house. It just looks like a slight dark image of a house. So you've got to get it at that sweet spot in between. And of course you can create that afterwards with CGI, computer generated imagery, but it's never going to look the same as when you stand in somebody's garden at that time of night and you take that beautiful shot in exactly that right moment. It's never going to look better than that. So we don't really like fake imagery here at Ashdown Jones. We like to stand in the garden, have a cup of tea, or maybe even a sneaky glass of wine with the owner that time in the evening and make it more of an experience. So that's twilight imagery. What other kind of images? We've got lifestyle, we've got twilight. The third one is drone, and this is where I wanted Edward to come and sit on the sofa with me, but he is not available today. He's doing training. And Edward is our drone photographer here. We do use and have used other drone photographers too. Edward is fab because he knows exactly what he wants the image to look like when it goes on the brochure. Have you got a brochure handy, Matt? Can we just quickly show a drone image? Or any of these images I've been talking about? Probably would have been good to have a brochure here. I'll let you pop down and get one, thank you, 1 or 2. And maybe get one of your lovely twilight images. Okay. And so a drone image is, as it probably sounds, it's one of those little helicopter things that goes up in the sky, and then you can take a photograph an image at any particular height and with any, pointing any direction. We can't do it when it's raining or when it's windy, but most of the time these drones are pretty stable these days. And what we're trying to do is get what I would call a bird's eye view. Now, what some photographs I think get wrong, or photographers get wrong, is they photograph the top of the house, like, those old-fashioned ones where they used to knock on your door and say, there's a helicopter going or an airplane going over your house and taking aerial shots, and all you see is lots of roofs. A house never looks nice like that, like a Google Earth kind of shot. What we want is a bird's eye image. It's usually somewhere between the upstairs windows and the top of the house, but at a distance. And that image there is usually the right angle to get the best possible view of the house. So you can see a bit of the garden, you can see its how it sits in its surroundings, you can see maybe, if it's here in the lakes, a little bit of lake, you can see woodland, you can see a mountain, you can see the extent of the gardens, you can see how it sits within its neighbourhood with the other houses nearby. And it usually makes the house, not always, but makes the house look more impressive than it does if you're looking straight on to the house, because you can see the extent of the garden and grounds, etc. On there. Come and have a sit down. You can show us. Now that is that fake?
That's a real, because I did it.
Including the sky.
The sky's fake.
The sky's fake.
Yes.
Show them your fake sky.
Fake sky.
Oh, I'm gutted.
Click of a button with
Dreams
Photoshop
broken.
these days. I know.
Okay. But that's a nice shot of a twilight image. Just show the front again. So, do you think that's dark/light enough? Do you think that's the right time? If you were redoing it now,
if I was redoing it now, maybe slightly darker.
I feel like slightly darker, and I think these 2 upstairs windows are a little bit too light as well. To show again. There. But you can see it does make a house look completely different, not haunted, and warm and welcoming.
There's a drone.
And there's the drone image, if you want to show the drone image. So what you can't see from standing at the front of that house, just flip to the front of the house again, is you can't see how it sits in its environment, what the views are going to be like. But as soon as you show a drone image, that's an aerial. Yeah, let's just show the first drone image again. What you can see about the drone image is the beautiful countryside it's got around it. So we use drone carefully and selectively. If you're in a very urban area, which we don't normally sell very many houses like that, it's a lot harder to get a good drone image. And there's all kinds of rules and regulations of what you can and can't fly over, etc. But ultimately, what we're trying to do is showcase your house in the best possible way. Any? See, I don't like that one because that's an aerial image. Yeah, don't like the top. It's in the top of the house. Show me a lifestyle image. Got a nice lifestyle image in there. There you go. Perfect. Under charming. There you go.
Chest by the fire.
A little chest set by the fire. There you go. And then the other type of image that we sometimes include is what we call an out and about image. So might be an image of Windermere, or an image of, I don't know, Coniston Old Man, or something that is just near to the house that is maybe a landmark or a beauty spot, just to sort of show a little bit of context to the house. And what sometimes we get from our owners for the last kind of image is a picture of something that maybe they've captured in the garden, like a woodpecker or a squirrel. Or we had, before your time, but our lovely friend Lucinda, when we were selling her house, she got a picture of a little baby fawn, like a 1 or 2 day old baby fawn. I'm pretty sure it was like in the snow, or it was really like lovely and romantic, but it was just a quick phone picture. So we can't enlarge them too big, can we, in the brochure? We can put a little, like a mosaic of little pictures so people can see what kind of wildlife you get in your garden, or flowers, or if we're selling your house in September and you've got a beautiful wisteria, you might want to show a picture of the wisteria, or we're selling it in the summer and you want to show what it looks like at Christmas, for example, so we can put a picture of your house in the snow or with a Christmas tree or something like that, and that'll just go on like a little mosaic page. So that's all the different kinds of photography that I can think of, unless you can think of any more. So we had standard, we don't really like standard. We had the 3 different levels inside the house, including the lifestyle. We had the drone, the twilight, the location images, and then the owner's own lifestyle, wildlife and flower kind of images. That's all, I think.
I think so, yeah.
That's it.
All useful.
Yeah, so loads of different kinds of imagery. So don't think that when you're selling your house, you should accept a brochure that only shows, or portfolio photographs only shows one kind of photograph, because you're missing all those other types of photographs. And like I said, if you were selling a car, let's say you had a car brochure, you'd have loads of different pictures. You'd have a picture of just, I don't know, a child with playing football that seemed to be nothing to do with the car. In the olden days, we used to have like bikini models lying on the car. We don't do that anymore, thank God. Or just like somebody's hands holding the steering wheel, or like a beautiful sunset and you can just see the car disappearing into the background. These are all tools we have at our disposal as marketers to be able to sell your house more effectively. This is Mac, by the way. I'm sure they've met you before.
Yeah, Mac or Sam, if anyone else knows me.
There's only one Sam in this building, and you're looking at her. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think if I would say if the photographer comes and it's all done within an hour or 2 hours, I don't think it's possible to get everything done within that. It takes more than one visit to get a nice accumulation of every image for a brochure. That's
a really good point, and actually it also depends on when we're going to see it, because I went to see a house recently in Natland that I think is just about to go on the market, and the garden was looking beautiful, but the owners weren't ready to get on the market. So I said to Matt, can you just go and photograph the outside? Let's get some really nice photographs of the foliage and the all the beautiful blooms, and it was just actually going, wasn't it? So we got some absolutely gorgeous outside images, and then they're in the bank for when we do go to market. So when we eventually produce the brochure, which I think we have done now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
Then we can incorporate those images in the brochure, and we don't just have a sort of end of autumn, all this rain we've had has been awful. So we don't want to get those kind of outside images. We want your garden to look beautiful And so that might mean taking photographs, like Sam says, at several different times. Like, got different time for the garden, different time for the inside, because you don't like rain on the window, you don't want rain on the outside. Twilight is a different time again. Maybe the locational images are a different time again. So you've got lots of different images and types of images there. And this is what we love to do because we're marketers. So we like to be able to showcase the house in every single way we can do. So the brochure is a work of art and an experience to read. That's it.
Yeah.
It's up to you to turn
I know.
it. Bye.